What's up, you guys? It's the Authentic Empress. So, as you can tell by the caption, I wrote, are you ready for you? Because it's never actually been about if anybody else is ready for you. And it's like, you guys, if anything, you always had this energy within you, like this natural, like, leave me alone. I don't care. I don't give a fuck, energy. But it was, I think for anybody, it's about where to properly place that energy. So, you guys, this energy of you not caring about the status quo, you not caring about keeping up with the Joneses or certain materials, or basically you not being controlled or manipulated, or your self esteem, your confidence not being manipulated or controlled by these things that, controls a lot of people. So we're in a time. I don't know if you guys are noticing, but I'm noticing. We're in a time where there's this energy of a lot of people, or just people in general, telling on themselves. There's that. Two, there's also this energy about how things have aged over time. Okay, so however you've been showing up, the last decade or decades of your life, there's just something strongly significant about how things are aging over time. And when I say, people are telling on themselves, I'm referring more so to people that you yourself could have had like some inklings about, but these people could have been like really mastering the ability to be this chameleon or blend themselves. But there could have been something off putting about whoever that is. Like, you know, and there's something significant about spiritual communities, specifically conscious communities, or people who appear to have a lot going on financially, right? For example, like people who got a lot of nice cars. They've been able to do a lot of work, like um, plastic surgery, being basically been able to spend or invest a lot of money in things that to you don't care a whole lot about, it's not a big deal for you, okay? um that energy of God give it, God take it away. And I'm not even saying that as if these things that some of these people have obtained have been directly from God, okay, in every scenario. um But at the core, in a way, yes, it has, right? Whether this be like the gift of God, whether this be their physical appearance, their physical attraction, whether this be their fertility. But it's more so about, what do they do with it? What do they do with it? You get what I'm saying? And considering what they've done with what God gave them, what did they gain as a result? What were they able to obtain, right? So again, there's this energy about things aging over time, right? Quiet is kept, right? Even the fact that there's this song, Quiet on the Creek, that's popular around this time, right? Hear me out. There's a lot of stuff happening quietly, okay, when it comes to these people who appear, okay, they appear like they got shit popping, right? So I was reflecting, something that God allowed me to witness, because God does that a lot, okay? Whether you come in contact with people who are, still in karmic cycles, okay, they know that they're toxic, or people who are more so healing, they're progressive, okay, they're obviously advancing in a positive way, they've been investing in something that's bigger than them, that's healing or helpful, right? So God has put me in a position where I'm able to witness people on completely different sides of the spectrum, right? When it comes to what they've done with their beauty, with their handsomeness, what they've done with their creativity and their craftiness, what they've done with their intelligence. Okay? So, when it comes to just my own personal experience, when I got my license, right, for the current job that I do, when I say, there was literally darts and arrows coming at me from all angles, y'all. And I had this strong determination about it, like this strong determination about me, like, you know what? I'm not gonna let this shit stop what I got going. You get what I'm saying? And I know why they're doing this. I know why it's happening, but I'm not gonna let this shit stop me. That doesn't take away from the fact that depending on the people who were used, that the shit didn't hurt me and stuff like that. But when it comes to the choices that I made while put in those situations, I'm grateful for the choices that I made to go without. I'm grateful for the choices that I made, like to lose certain shit, like that can easily be replaced, opposed to, engaging in behaviors that can, like, you know what I'm saying, like permanently stain me because of an insecurity that I allow to be fed by the people who were intentionally trying to feed that energy within me. Leave that type of imprint on my energy, poison me. You get what I'm saying? With their projections, because in essence that's what it was. And even having the wisdom to be able to tell that something is a projection, to see, the underlying to why people are making certain decisions toward me or concerning me. There was, you know, I feel like for all of us, there was always these mixed signals to try and turn our confidence into arrogance. Try and turn us loving ourselves into things that is simply not. You get what I'm saying? To basically, basically water down our divinity, right? So going back to how it's actually a lot more going on quietly behind the scenes when it comes to people reaping, karma from their decisions. When they thought, because of what they had, because of what they looked like, because of what they was driving, because of who they was connected to, they just really allowed themselves to grow into this arrogance, into this inflated pride and ego, where they really got ahead of themselves and they really put themselves above God, whether it was intentionally or unintentionally. This can even be people who would say that, oh, I believe in God. This can even be people who may openly admit that they have struggles around their faith. Okay? This can even be this energy of people saying, well, I'm used to toxicity. I know I'm toxic. Da 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 da. And so they consciously choose toxicity over and over and over again. Right? You guys didn't do that. Right? If anything, you were more so on the end of, I refuse to allow this to be a continual thing in my life. I'm going to have to start making some different decisions to get away from it. I'm going to have to develop being okay with being without people that I care about, people that I love, or even being, without certain like support systems that most people rely upon. And all the while this was happening, this was only increasing your faith in the divine. This was only strengthening your connection, your network in the spirit realm, and even your own abilities, your own power, your own strengths, right? That's where we are right now. When it comes to how things have aged over time, that's where we are right now. You guys are seeing, like, damn, I went, I lost, some shit. You get what I'm saying? That was small shit compared to what other people are losing. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's people who are finding themselves. See, it's one thing. It's one thing to experience something tragic because you allow anger to drive you. You get what I'm saying? You allow somebody intentionally trying to puppet your emotions, put you in a predicament or a situation where you almost lost your life. You get what I'm saying? It's another thing where damn, what's a good example? So when I was younger, and me just navigating through, anger and frustration and hurt and pain and not feeling like I was supported the way I needed to be supported. I had like this brief moment where if I needed to go somewhere and somebody would like really do something to hurt my feelings or piss me off, I would have a bad habit of manifesting that when I'm driving. You get what I'm saying? And I'm from South Carolina, so you know, it was a lot more, you know what I'm saying? But I guess it really doesn't matter where you are, especially like Atlanta and stuff. But I used to have this bad habit of like, people call it a speed demon, right? I used to have a bad habit of driving fast, driving real fast, not giving a fuck when I was mad. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that energy, but transmuting that energy into, you know what? I know this person is intentionally trying to trigger me because they're bothered by me, and I understand what's bothering them. And, I know that I didn't make any intentional decisions to, make that person feel like they need to move that way with me. So, I'm not going to internalize it. I'm not going to take it personal because, I know it has potential to cause me to act out in a way that would actually cause more harm to myself. Okay, even though it's being motivated by a force that's outside of me. You get what I'm saying? It's not coming from inside of me. It's not coming from God, So that maturity, that wisdom, even making decisions that people will try and redefine, and say, oh, it's kind of like how Glorilla has said in the song, and she was like, oh, she won't come outside, that means she's scared, right? Just because you got thousands of people who bumping that shit and they agree with that shit don't make that shit true. 1:44 on the clock. But you get what I'm saying? Like, there's also that energy, that tactic as well as, when it comes to toxic validation, toxic enabling. And, I've been talking about lately how this strategy of using the crowd, using a multitude of people to make something that's wrong seem right. You get what I'm saying? So, for example, let's say you made a decision not to fight somebody who was baiting you for a fight. You get what I'm saying? And then the people that they're attached to who are also toxic, wanting to tell each other or possibly tell others that, oh, they punked you out or some shit. But no, in actuality, you just made a wise decision. You get what I'm saying? It's kind of that energy, right? So this is talking about people getting themselves into tragic car accidents, situations, circumstances, because they're allowing somebody to toy with their emotions whom they have ample proof that this person is intentionally toying with their emotions, that the person is intentionally using them for what they have to make themselves appear better or to even, score some ass off of them, score some clout off of them. They see it. They have the proof. They have ample evidence, right? And then not just that, but they also have evidence of loss, things that they lose, misfortunes that they experience by keeping themselves, intertwined in a person, people, places, and things that has every intent to destroy what that person got going, what that person has been able to develop for themselves, what they've been able to grow, give birth to, literally, right? Are you ready for you? Because they'll never be ready for you. They're going to always be hating. If that's who they are, if it's in them to be a hater, if they don't deem it a problem to work on, they're going to never be ready for you. But it's about, are you ready for you? Because of what comes with you, what life has shown you comes with you being who you are. Are you ready for that? You also have the proof and the evidence that you are ready for it by the decisions that you made, by how you overcame, by how you conquered it, by how you manifested something even greater, how you still been able to manifest, generate. Your life and the people outside of you, whether good or bad, have shown you, damn, who you are. And you're a powerful person. You're a powerful soul, right? You're a relentless soul when it comes to fighting for yourself, fighting for what's right, okay? Standing on your integrity. But are you ready for that? Are you ready for that? You get what I'm saying? Like, if this is referring to talents, you get what I'm saying? People who's been intimidated by what you've been able to build for yourself without their support, okay? Without their kind words, without their consistency, without their reliability, without them being dependable, with their shade. You get what I'm saying? With the projections, with that, look what you've been able to do. These are people who've always feared your potentiality, right? You know how you've always had the ability to see potential in others? Well, people see your potential as well. Even though people may choose to weaponize and abuse the potential that they see in you, you is the type of person that will feed or treat people according to the potential that you will see in them. And then what they will do, they will take advantage of you. They will feed off you, harvest off you, right? And then try to transfer your energy that you pour into them into shit that they're trying to go for themselves or even other people, boosting other people above you with your energy. Right? So boom. For those of us who understand how energy works and understand just how much control and dictation we have over our own energy. Okay, bet. You fooled me. You got me. Okay? You fake love with me. I poured into you. You gave my energy to other motherfuckers. I boosted you up. You glowed up off my energy. I boosted your confidence and your ego. And you took that shit to impress other motherfuckers that you thought was better than me. Bet, but guess what? I have the wisdom and the understanding that, hey, that's my energy, so I know that I get to call that shit back to me. You know, I said in something that I just recorded that the same way I can upgrade you, I can also take you off the radar. Because if you're upgrading off my energy, I can take you off the radar with my energy because I have the right to take it back. Period. And I'm not going to forsake the knowledge that I have about that. You can be in denial. You can call me arrogant. You can team up with other people to try to force me to back down, try to corner me, try to get me to doubt my instincts. But the reality is I have more than enough proof. Not just with you, but with others, right? I have proof. I know that I can see. God has given me evidence. I done seen, had visions, had dreams, things that have come to pass. Just collecting evidence over the years, over time. So who gives a fuck about you trying to doubt, trying to force doubt into me or trying to force feed me doubt about who I am? When who can be me better than me? Who gives a fuck about a copycat? Who gives a fuck about a wannabe? Who gives a fuck about somebody, trying to steal your shit, creating pages, creating whatever, trying to steal your identity? They can't. It's impossible. It's impossible. The only way they can even do that or come close to it, you will have to doubt who you are. You will have to believe the lies that they're telling you about who you are. So again, the question on the table is, are you ready for you? Because they will never be ready for you. Never. Never. Let me tell you something too. So, an obvious reality, right? Something that I study, and this is just from an observer standpoint. I'm an observant person, right? I'm vigilant. I pay attention to my surroundings. I study whatever my eyes lay on, right? For example, with social media, people who I watch or whatever, I pay attention to their views compared to their likes, right? And it's always double, triple, quadruple the amount of views than it is genuine support for that person. So, for example, if you've only been exposed to a small crowd, you get what I'm saying? And you got a significant amount of more people who just watching you, you get what I'm saying? More than those who genuinely support you. I hope you understand that the more exposure you have, the more support you will have, right? So, and it's not even solely about that or like that's the thing to obtain, but it's just the understanding of it, right? So you don't allow yourself to be deceived by people's manipulative tactics, these dark manipulations. It's almost like, boom, you're in a place where there's a lot of trees, right? It's a lot of trees around. So you get what I'm saying? Even though the sun is out, depending on the area that you're in, the angle or whatever, and there's so many trees, you know, it may dim the sun, for example, right? I was picking up on this energy of everybody has a multitude of NPCs who are used to cloak who they are or try to keep them hidden from the right people, places, and things. There's a lyric that I said, I did a freestyle to Lemonade by Gucci, and I said, when life give you lemons, just make some lemonade. Bitterness and sweetness is what creates the taste. Hey, we need the shade to keep the ice chill. Plus, it's making me some money. You get what I'm saying? There's a dance with that, right? Even if people are being shady towards you, there's benefits to their shade, depending on your awareness of self, depending on how you choose to perceive the situation, and hopefully you're perceiving it through a spiritual, a wise lens. I have to, get back to I can't even say it. Being specific, when I used to always say, hey, we need to differentiate what being spiritual actually means. Because in a sense, everybody is spiritual. That doesn't mean, oh, I'm spiritual. That doesn't mean that that person is housing a divine spirit. Every vessel is housing a spirit or spirits. You get what I'm saying? Whether that's evil spirits or divine spirits. You feel me? You follow me? So, even with all this stuff that's happening, these things, these people who have fallen weakened, who have succumbed to spiritual warfare in their lives, I've also been talking about how it's kind of sickening how people are using spiritual crises as sources of entertainment. Even with, young Pharaoh, everybody's jumping on that topic. But if you even refer back to who he was, and why is it even a topic? Why is it so big? Why is it such a huge thing for people to talk about? It's because of who he was. You get what I'm saying? Whom he's shown himself to be, the kind of topics and the things that he was talking about. That doesn't mean that he was altogether a fraud the whole time. He was fake the whole time. That's not what that means. But understanding, if you are doing something, okay, positive, yes, you're going, oh my God. This is why discernment is so important. Do you have multitudes of people who protest, people who are actually poisoning society? Yes. Do you also have multitudes of people who protest against people who are trying to cure society? Yes. And we have to have the discernment. Am I excusing his behaviors and stuff like that? No. But I am viewing it as a spiritual crisis. I am viewing it as this is the result of what happens when you succumb to the vanities of life. When you get ahead of yourself. When you become prideful, greedy. You get what I'm saying? Swollen up with power. Whatever the case may be. You get what I'm saying? We have to be careful about who we allow to attach to us and who we attach ourselves to. Man, when I say I don't give a fuck how much you think you've accumulated, bro, within a day, days, weeks, a month, that shit can be gone, dwindled. I've seen it. I've seen a motherfucker who got multiple properties, expensive ass vehicles, multitude of them. They can get dick whenever they want to, type shit. Can get ass whenever they want to, like, can pop they shit whenever they want to. Can get their body done in a drop of a dime. Can get their teeth done in a drop of a dime. It's nothing. And I've also seen that type of person talk down about somebody who works at a 9 to 5. Somebody who's, you get what I'm saying? Their path is just different when it comes to them building for themselves. But this person actually think or tell themselves that because of what they have materially, that they somehow must be better quality than that person. And I've literally, surprisingly so, but not surprisingly so, seen this person lose the shit that they use to put themselves above other people whom they look down upon. And even reflecting on like similar stories, like when it comes to relationships, y'all, you know, there are similar routes that people can take depending on a toxic relationship or when a relationship becomes toxic. There's similar routes that people can take, whether that be, towards ascension or descension, right? So for example, let's say there's two women. Two women are in relationships. This is not like them dating the same person, but two women are in relationships, right? Let's say there's a lot of similarities in the person that they're in a relationship with. But these are two totally different women. So boom. In one woman's relationship, okay, let's say her partner struggles with insecurities, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to resources and feeling some type of way because she has more than him at the time. But she still loves that person, she still desires him, and the same clause that both relationships, that the partner in both relationships are able to put within those women. Let's say the sex is amazing. Let's say the person is charming. Okay, let's say this person know how to talk that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this person knows how to love bomb, in a way like to really capture or captivate that woman. But we got two different relationships, two different women dealing with similar traits in their partner, right? So boom, you got one, right? When the toxic shit starts rearing its ugly head, there's one woman, she's not afraid to call him out on it. She's not afraid to talk about it, to address it, to identify it, to hold him accountable. She may still show grace. She may be patient, you know what I'm saying? But there's limits with that patience. There's limits with the patience. There's limits, okay, with that olive branch. So boom, let's say, okay, the guy figures out, so we're gonna focus on a woman who has integrity in the situation. Let's say the guy recognizes this about her. Let's say he has the tendency to self-sabotage. So he continues engaging in behaviors. He falls vulnerable to, hating ass friends who's feeding, his insecurities and feeding the self-sabotage, feeding that shit, right? So now he's making even more decisions to sabotage his connection with this female, and if anything, water her down, bring her down to a level that he feels more comfortable to deal with her. Okay, or he feels like she won't be able to break away or separate from him because he got his claws in her, right? Whether that be through that sex, whether that be through the love bombing, whatever. You get what I'm saying? Boom. So it seemed like things always come to like an explosive end to an extent, right? So boom, that explosion comes, right? So you got this same woman, the woman of integrity, the woman who was willing to speak up and defend herself, the woman who made wise decisions even when there was people connected to this person trying to bait her into chaos, trying to bait her into dynamics to basically bring down her value and her quality of self. So boom, the explosion happens. Even if the person does things that kind of steps outside of their character, they still have restraint. They still have a level of discipline. There's just some things they refuse to do. You're not going to be keying no cars. You're not going to be vandalizing cars in houses and shit. You're not going to be grabbing phones and breaking phones. You're not going to be beating the nigga up. You get what I'm saying? Because, pissed off and shit. There are certain limits that you have connected to your self-esteem and your self-love and self-respect that you just refuse to do, even though we understand. There are some people who are unhealed, who feel like that toxic shit is proof to them that you actually love them, that you really care about them for real. They wanna drive you to that. They wanna see that toxic shit desperately, right? So let's say They weren't able to get that out of you, right? So if you have to deal with some type of loss in the situation, if there must be sacrifice and loss, if there must be pain and tears shed, okay? If there must be something dark and sinister, some type of storm, some type of fog that you have to get through, right? Let's say for that woman, hers may be being ignored, her words being used against her, people lying on her, people being weaponized against her, people being triangulated against her, people trying to sabotage her job, her money, attack her beauty, attack her confidence, da 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 da. So this is the darkness, that she has to navigate through. And even though it may take time, it takes sacrifice, it takes loss, whatever, she successfully navigates through that. It don't matter how long it took. Now let's think about the other woman dealing with similar traits and qualities in her partner, right? Let's say she take the bait, right? She take the bait of the bullshit that the toxic partner or whatever feels like he needs to do to get her reduced to a certain level. You get what I'm saying? So let's say she mirrored or she portrayed the fact that she's capable of being strong enough. You get what I'm saying? To like leave this nigga behind, walk away, leave the situation alone, move on. You get what I'm saying? Boss up. She's capable of doing that, right? But, and this can even be like the type of energy that's willing to like go tit for tat with the dude. She's going to play the game with him, right? Now the other one we talked about, no, she's not willing to do that. She gonna handle that shit with wisdom and divine strategy, right? So the woman in this scenario, she engages in these mind games with this guy, may even do the same shit with him, do the tango with him. He cheat, she cheat. You know what I'm saying? He does things to make her jealous, she does things to make him jealous. Tick for tack, tick for tack. Okay? However, he's still able to puppet her with her false sense of confidence, with the fact that she does lack self-esteem, that she places a lot of her self-esteem and confidence in her materials that she's accumulated, in the pride of her job, the pride of her money, the pride of her looks, or this could be a guy as well, okay? But she places her self-worth in things that are external, things that are worldly, okay? So in a way, his darker nature understanding this about her, he continues to manipulate that. So the same thing with the other stuff, the love bombing is still going on. But then the toxicity, the self-sabotaging, the whatever, the bait and switch, using other people, triangulation, da da da. That same shit going on, right? But she takes the bait. And now she's in a state of fear over this man, over losing this man to another person. Now she's out here tracking down women that he dealing with, you get what I'm saying? In her face, whatever, she finds out about it. You get what I'm saying? But he basically playing in her face, entertaining her and these other females, and now it's known she know about it. Let's say the other woman we talked about first, she ain't know about the shit. But when she found out, she the type of motherfucker, okay, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Now, but to the woman who allows her energy to not only give birth or to feed, fertilize, whatever, the toxicity, the games, right? So now, those things that made her feel powerful, worthy, confident, because of her association with this person who is intentionally sabotaging her because he's jealous of her, okay? But there's also benefits to her. You know what I'm saying? So it's that parasitic shit going on. So now she begins to lose shit. Those same materials that she used to put herself on a pedestal when it comes to her self-esteem. And I'm not even putting this energy down for real, but it's just the reality of what it is. Now she's experiencing misfortune after misfortune after misfortune. Now she's experiencing situations where There's bodily harm. There's, you know, oh Lord, there's bodily harm, um, accidents, losing like expensive shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that ungrateful attitude is gonna get you what ungratefulness is gonna get you. But that grateful attitude is certainly going to get you what gratefulness gets you as well, right? And a lot of times when we find ourselves in connections with people who begin to change or act out when they see us experience, or they see certain things about us that they would, you know, define as upgrades, um, when in comparison, that they would, you know, again, see that potentiality within you, and it may trigger them somehow. And even with that trigger, it's like, damn, like, what's a good example for that? Let's think about a trigger like an actual weapon. Okay. Just because somebody say that they don't like you, right? Um, and let's say that's triggering. Like, what the fuck did I do for you not to like me? You know what I'm saying? Just because somebody say they don't like you, they lie on you or whatever, that don't mean you should search this person out and try to pull the trigger on them, like shoot them and kill them. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing when something may trigger you or people go out of their way to trigger you. Because you making that split decision or that impulsive decision, that unwise decision to do that, even when your life is not truly in danger for real. You're not in danger. But just because that person say they don't like you, they lied on you, whatever, you gonna gun this person down. So boom, now what happens? Now you got death on your head. You got death on your back. Death for a death. You get what I'm saying? Now, if it's a senseless death, more than likely, you're going to reap a senseless death. Lord have mercy. You know, it's kind of like the phrase, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, right? It's crazy to me that people can almost lose their lives taking some type of impulsive action behind somebody who it's already been proven that this person is toxic, that this person is capable of arousing this type of energy out of you, and you're still entertaining that. When it shows, you're still falling for the trap, like you're just voluntarily walking into the fucking trap. Well, what if those traps over time become worse in severity? You know what I'm saying? So, boom, y'all got in a tussle over a phone or some shit. And during that tussle, you took the wrong step, or, you know, the person underestimated their strength. And now you done sprain your fucking ankle. You done sprain your knee. Clear warning sign. Okay. Boom. You fall for the bait of being tricked out of giving your energy out loosely and not intentionally, you know? Because this person decides to cheat on you. And so you feel like to get back at them, you gotta cheat, you know, you gotta, you know, involve yourself in a fucking one night stand with somebody you don't even fucking know. You barely fucking know. You get what I'm saying? You don't know what the fuck this person got. Right? And even worse, if you're somebody who leads with appearances and materials, so you're going to also be caught by that bait of people who are luring people with appearances, titles, materials, whatever. Right? But you don't know shit about this person. You don't know what that person got in their balls. You don't know if the person got in their crotch. You don't know what the fuck is inside the jaw of that person, in the inside of that jaw. You don't know. You don't know this shit. But you allowed yourself to be puppeted into mirroring the actions of somebody who's not just clearly toxic, who, has not given you more than enough proof of them using you, okay, for a come up and shit like that, them competing with you, them intentionally trying to make you jealous, like trying to get you to crash out. You know, the fact that we even use that phrase, crashing out, that can actually lead to a crash out. If you allow somebody to continue puppeting your emotions, again, it's like I mentioned earlier, when I was younger, there would be times I would get triggered, whether by family or whatever. I would get triggered, and let's say I want to go for a ride, or I want to leave a family member's house or whatever, because I'm triggered. Instead of calming myself, just taking a pause, really process what's going on, right? I would impulsively get behind that wheel and drive fast. You get what I'm saying? It's not about the fact that I can drive, that I know how to drive, but still, you're being puppeted by anger, emotions. Who's driving, who's in control of the wheel. Again, I always talk about how our bodies are like vehicles, okay? Vehicles, vessels, okay? Whether that's a vase, something that is containing something, a liquid or items, or a house. Who's governing the house? Who built the house? Who's doing the upkeep of the house? Who's cleaning the house? Or who has the responsibility? Because we know there's people who don't clean their houses. We know there's people who hoard, right? We're aware of all of these different scenarios, right? So when you allow yourself to be aroused in certain emotions at the hands of somebody's words, somebody's actions, you know what I'm saying? Whatever action you take after that, who's truly governing that action? And what is it likely to become? You get what I'm saying? So if you're crashing out in small ways because of how somebody is showing up, how somebody is acting, what they're doing, what they're saying, that is a warning sign. That is a telltale sign of what this person has potential, right, to influence you to do to harm yourself. That's what that is, okay? What we're supposed to do when we encounter this is recognize it for what it is. Sit with it, meditate, reflect, introspect on the matter, and make a wise decision. Make a thoughtful decision, okay? Because depending on that decision, bro, like, man. And the thing about it, regardless of how small you think you are, regardless of you thinking that, your actions and your decisions don't necessarily affect another person, it does. It does. Especially if there's some type of evil driving your actions or that decision. Abso-fucking-lutely. More than likely, you're not going to just affect yourself or harm yourself. You're going to harm or affect somebody else. No matter what the degree of the harm is. It's damn near inevitable for you not to put somebody else in harm, for there not to be a domino effect or ripple effect if you make a bad decision. You get what I'm saying? It's crazy. Also, this energy of like, when you get an idea, a download, or there's something that you want to do for yourself that will be good for you, will be helpful for you, there's always something that will come in to oppose that, or to distract you, or to try and feed off whatever decision that you're making for your better good, for your highest good, there's always going to be something that try to comes and infiltrate that and steal that for themselves and waste your fucking time. Um, and I'm trying to figure out a better way to communicate this with confidentiality. So, excuse me, let's say somebody experienced an accident and they felt guided to make a decision that would improve their health or help ease the pain or um, give them some type of relief in a healthy way. So they made that decision, but then boom, you got somebody who contributed to the accident, right? An unnecessary, a senseless accident at that. Is that energy of puppeting your emotions to even have you make an impulsive decision that led you to that accident. Now that you're making a decision to do something that will aid and assist yourself, okay? From the residual pain, the residual damage that you've put on yourself, okay, that's connected to a toxic person. Now this person wants to infiltrate before you finalize that decision to do something healthy for yourself. They try to infiltrate, get before that, okay? Love bomb you. Only to try and avert you from making a decision that's going to create a positive ripple effect in your life. And this is why sometimes when we fall for that and we forsake ourselves, we put ourselves behind that person, like we put what that person's want and desire is above ourselves. What ends up happening is that they end up wasting our fucking time. But that was the point all along, to waste your fucking time, right? So personally for me, when motherfuckers started to crash out all around me, you get what I'm saying? Because it was more, it was less about the fact that, oh, I have a good job, or now I have a better job. It was more so related to the fact that, damn, I'm doing something that's a part of my purpose. Because honestly, like, I'm trying to, because I want to be the most accurate with you guys. For example, there was always little shit. Like if I got something going, something good going, there will always be motherfuckers who are in proximity to me who, will be possessed and get used to try and throw off the attention, the balance, or try to convert my attention span toward themselves. But man, when I had to write my paper to basically earn the scholarship and achieve the opportunity to get into massage school, the person that I was dating at the time for 3.5 years, this motherfucker like just started throwing tantrums, being an asshole. This wasn't the first time he's been an asshole, you know what I'm saying? But he was really doing his big one, right? And I tuned that shit out. I finished my paper, I got into school, tune that shit out. He broke up with me or whatever. Tune that shit out. The shit hurt, cried, whatever. Tune that shit out. Still focused. Like, I'm still gonna do this shit though. Boom. The job that I had, I was doing like because I had left one job so I can do massage school, and I took up a cleaning job, like residential cleaning, kind of like Summer Walker. Like I took up a job like that, and my intentions was to use those funds. You get what I'm saying? Like to help me pay for massage school. I ended up losing that job, and there was like a lot of shady, weird shit going on. Like even with the person who I was working for, they was being shady. There was, some weird energy from certain family members. I had to learn, okay, keep my mouth shut about shit, because people really be preying on your downfall. So boom. Even though, yes, my family did help me greatly to get through massage school. Um, I've dealt with, interferences in my home life. I was dealing with interferences at school, with peers and classmates and shit. Just for me, staying focused, locked in. Like, it would be weird. Like, there was a combination of weird energies. Like, people trying to be shady, teaming up to be shady and shit. But whenever we had to, like, perform, in front of one another and people see, and not just that, but your impact, your influence, your feedback. I wish I had, my review papers from school in here right now, but I think I left them in the car. But my point is like, the only reason people amped up, or like that energy was amped up, is because I have healing hands. That's a part of my gift. You get what I'm saying? I'm not just anybody doing massage type shit. So, boom. I dealt with whatever conflicts in school, outside of school, got through it. Okay? Graduated school. I graduated like a month later because of the interferences, but graduated from school. I passed my state exam the following month, first time. I have some interferences connected to other people, okay? Shit that never should have happened. It was just some hating shit. So boom, but still, within a span of what? I graduated August. I took my state exam October, passed it. I tried to submit my information September, had some interferences. Okay, boom. Got some assistance, did what I needed to do November, submitted my paperwork, got my license in December. Within that span of time, so October, I started working at my first spa. I wasn't a massage therapist, I didn't have my license yet, but I worked as a spa back. So I was doing laundry, folding laundry, washing laundry, cleaning bathrooms, cleaning the lobby, cleaning the hallway, flipping rooms for the therapist, cleaning the break room, stocking, do all that shit, right? But, and only getting paid $12 an hour, by the way, in Georgia. But never mind that. I was still able to pay for me to have somewhere to stay. I had to use that paycheck and use donating plasma to do the shit, but I got the shit done. That's the point. So boom. Even when I was working there, I wasn't even licensed yet. I was waiting on my license. So I'm not a hater. You get what I'm saying? I'm around people who they're already where I'm on my way. They're already established therapists. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I would ask them for advice. I would ask them, if they had any recommendations, whatever, And the ones who was hating on me because of shallow shit, appearances, because of what I look like, because of the attention I was getting from the male therapist. You get what I'm saying? And I didn't even give a fuck. I was the type of person like, okay, if there's a lot of females sweating a dude because of what he looked like, I look past that nigga on purpose. That's the type of female I am. But how that always goes is that then that nigga will be checking for me harder. That's what happened. So boom. Not that I wanted it, that's just what comes with it. You get what I'm saying? So anyway, one of those females gonna have the nerve to say to me, oh, well, good luck, because it normally be taking 5 to 8 months for them to, give you your license or grant you your license. My response, now I'm cleaning at the time. You know what I'm saying? My response to her, well, everything's gonna happen according to divine timing. So that's okay. They didn't expect me to get my license as quick as I did. I got my license, a couple days before or after Christmas. I was like, well, thank you, God, for my Christmas gift, because ain't nobody buy me shit. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, like, oh my God, thank you, God. So boom, I'm in there starting January, right? Hit the ground running, just like God told me. And that's another thing too, about being more solid in your communication and your connection. Like the way how we desire close relationships with family, with a partner, with a friend, with with yourself, goddamn. We're supposed to have that with the divine, bro. Because there's gonna always be people that's in these places, these relationship dynamics. You get what I'm saying? That by any time they could be compromised and say some shit to you, plant a seed in you, plant some doubt in you, some fear. You get what, some shit that God didn't give you, basically. So I always talk to God about how things are going to unfold for me, especially with, massage and stuff like that. And so God told me, like, everything's going to happen quickly, right? And not just that. When you get your license, you're going to hit the ground running. That's exactly what I did. I hit that fucking ground running. What I mean by that is, I done been so depleted. You get what I'm saying? Like, because me constantly having to deal with warfare that's being projected by a karmic family, people that's in proximity to me, people that I'm living with, people that I'm working with, people that I'm going to school with. Like, just always motherfuckers around me projecting. You get what I'm saying? So I got my license, and boom, I'm getting 5-star reviews out the ass. 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. I'm already building my repeat clientele like water. Motherfuckers already feel some type of way to see me coming there with a different shirt on, massage therapist, right? The following month, after they done said, oh, it's probably gonna take 5 to 8 months. Because we was on a winter break that December. So we was on break from our job. You get what I'm saying? I got my license. So when we came back in January, I came back massage therapist. Not spa back, massage therapist. Hello, motherfucker. Can you imagine the shade that I received from those people, especially that person who said that slick shit to me? Can you imagine the shade that this person was projecting? Like, didn't give no fuck, stay focused, kept my head down type shit, stay focused, because I understand the responsibility of massage, right? It's deeper than just, learning the anatomy and the physiology and working out knots and shit. It's deeper than that. At least it is to me. So I'm focused. And just like God said, like I said, I built my clientele fast. I gained regular clients quickly. 5-star reviews out the ass. One thing about it, even though at this particular job, I was only there for 5 months. By the time I left, I was number 1 on the scoreboard, 5-star reviews out of 2 locations of therapists. I'm talking at least 40 or more therapists who were there long before me. I was number 1. That's how I left that bitch. I left that motherfucker with a bang. Was there people there trying to sabotage me? Yes. Was there people in my home life trying to sabotage me? Yes. Was the person that I thought was going to be my man, did he even take actions to sabotage me? Yes. All this shit happened simultaneously. All of it. It's like, damn. So boom. I got my way through that shit. I found my way through that shit, bro. I refused to do anything that would lower my integrity. It didn't matter what I lost. It didn't matter where I had to live at. You get what I'm saying? I had to live, I had to live in, situations that weren't, I didn't want to. I just worked with what I had, at the time. But I never allowed those low moments to influence me, to bring my soul low. Just because things around me externally was low, I didn't allow myself to make decisions that were lower who I am, or basically take away from the progress, the advancement, the ascension that I've successfully gained for myself. I refuse to do that. I was hurt. I lost that job, and I've said it on here a few times. I'm not ashamed about it. I lost that job because I was already dealing with people trying to set me up. That it was shocking because of who they were. People trying to set me up. Try to have intentions on putting me out on the street, pocket watching. okay, trying to trip me up and shit. You get what I'm saying? And I'm just still like bull. Like I'm a Taurus. I'm just bulling through that shit. Like fuck it. I know what they trying to do. I'm not gonna let this shit stop me though. So boom, like people who put out a hand to help me also switched up on me. Okay, fuck it. I'm bullying it. I'm still gonna get through this shit, bro. Cause I know what they trying to do. When they got to the person I was in love with, uh, bro, it felt like somebody shot me in my fucking chest. It did. That shit sat me the fuck down. Because again, I was already navigating through hardships from other people who was in proximity to me. People at my job, lying on me and shit. Um, People setting me up, like they're trying to help me out of a situation from other motherfuckers trying to set me up in the previous home situation. And then that person switching up on me who offered out a hand of help, they switching up too. It was a lot that I was carrying. You know what I'm saying? And so, considering how I showed up for my partner at the time, you know, with his hardships and shit, you damn right I expected the same. Now, because of where I'm at within myself, within my soul level, within my connection with the divine, were things a lot more aggressive for me when it came to my spiritual warfare? Absolutely. And he just wasn't built for that shit. That's the reality. He wasn't strong enough. He wasn't man enough at the time. That's just that. And this is not even like the shit on him. I mean, if I'm being real, like we be completely transparent. Like if somebody do you dirty for you, hell yes, fuck them. I love you, but fuck you. Because you didn't give a fuck about me. You didn't. If anything, you contributed to all these other motherfuckers who was up against me. And even when I told you about it, like you disregarded who you've experienced firsthand from me, and you sided with these hating ass motherfuckers. So fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Love you, but fuck you. Do I wish things could resolve because I invested a lot more energy into you than I did these people? Absolutely. But at the same time, like, it's not gonna stop what me and God got going. It's not gonna stop that, right? So anyway, I'm saying all this to say, I've been put in situations and circumstances where, damn, okay, it seemed like every time I do this, that I think is like, you know, helpful or easier or whatever, like it'll, as long as another person that I'm really not locked in with on a soul tribe level, or as long as there's another person who can be compromised at any time by how I am, my essence, okay, how other people treat me or receive me, or if they feel intimidated by people liking me that's in the same community, I had to recognize, okay, anytime a motherfucker in any type of way has some level of power or authority where they can negatively impact my life, they're gonna take it. You know what I'm saying? And of course, this is not everyone, but that created situations and scenarios where, okay, damn, I had no choice but to depend on God and me. You know what I'm saying? However, now doing that, I'm like, okay, things are a lot better this way. You know? That person that I thought I was so close with, that person whom, you know, I've brought abundance to them by association. You know? They allow themselves to get compromised at the end of the day. And so I learned, you know what? Even when you think you're already moving in a space of like, the less people know, the better. You know what I'm saying? I had to really like lock in with that. Like I had to become even more discerning with that energy. More protective over shit. Because there was somebody who was really close to me. When I branched out on my own, working for myself and shit, and this person was seeing the growth, their energy began to shift with me. They would shape shift. And I would peep it. You get what I'm saying? But when you're truly a sweethearted person, and you done been through so many cycles of that, bro, that hope, like you be wanting to hold on to hope and faith that, okay, I hope it doesn't, like, I hope that doesn't grow. I hope they don't fully convert to that. And I hope I don't have to cut them off too. But it came to that, you know? It came to that. And I gotta be real, like, the person thought that this is gonna, like, cause me to stumble and shit. But one thing about it, if I stumble, bitch, I'm still moving my legs though. I can still get to and fro if I stumble. So that's okay. I don't mind stumbling. Y'all care a whole lot about that stumbling shit. Y'all worry so much about other motherfuckers seeing you stumble. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, let's say you have like an injury and you're in physical therapy or some shit, or you know, you weight training, you training, like, you whatever. And your form may be a little, you feel me, you gotta work on your form a little more, but it's the fact that you have like the energy to do that shit. Like, you got the strength to work through that shit and be patient and have the mindset, the mentality to do that shit. You get what I'm saying? That's what it's about. Okay, I can't succumb to what the shit look like right now. You get what I'm saying? But what I do have is proof and evidence of what I'm already capable of, what I've already achieved. So I'm stepping into, well, I'm now in this new cycle where, okay, I gained a lot and I lost a lot because of people whom I allow access to, right? Even though I was already somebody who's selective. You know what I'm saying? Where they won't be able to sabotage the shit. They won't be able to have any power or authority over me. Not even in the slightest. That's what I'm stepping into right now. And I don't regret anything. I don't regret anything. You know, there are some people who will worry themselves to death over a lie that somebody told of them or told about them. There were people who would literally take their lives because of group bullying and harassment. But see, the mentality that they're banking on me to have, the type of mentality that's required for that type of shit to actually work on, I just don't have it. That's the difference between me and anybody who think they're gonna use that tactic with somebody like me. You know what I'm saying? I know why you feel like you gotta, you know, talk me down or create this false image of me that's far beneath who I actually am. I know your reason behind it. I know the purpose. I understand the intent, and I know what you're gunning for. But you're not gonna get it. I refuse to get it to you. Like, who the fuck are you? And you're definitely not God. You're not God. And you're mad because you're not me. You're mad because you don't have my mentality. That's why you want to attack my mentality. You're mad because, you know what I'm saying? You're mad because you don't have my confidence. That's why you gun so hard at my confidence. You know what I'm saying? You're bothered, you know, by my creativity. You know what I'm saying? That's why motherfuckers want me to feel like don't nobody give a fuck about what I'm creating. Well, shit. Let me tell you something. Like I said earlier, when it comes to like social media, if you pay attention to views compared to genuine support, like likes, comments, and shit like that, it's gonna always be more views, right? It's gonna always be more views. Motherfuckers watching, trolling, right? Spying, okay? And secret fans, okay? People who have admiration confused, and they want you to be confused about their admiration, right? But you'll be a man. Should I even say that? All I'm gonna say is it's just an illusion. That's all it's ever been, was illusions. They've always feared your potential. If, when you get more exposure, they've always feared who you're going to come in contact with. They always fear the potential of you having that amazing marriage and relationship and creating a beautiful, strong legacy. Like, and not even just like with your children, like, but your creativity, your talents, your skills, like what you're capable of, right? And so they always try to weigh those people down more. But the thing about people trying to weigh you down all the time, your muscles, your spiritual muscle, your mental muscle build an immunity. It builds adaptation, and not in the way that they want it to be. You get what I'm saying? It's like working out your body. If you lifting, goddamn, if you lifting 120 or bench pressing 120, eventually you should push yourself to lift 130, 135, 140. But you're gonna notice like that 120 is gonna become too light anyway. You know what I'm saying? And the reality of anybody who's contributed to any type of imbalance in my life that contributed to my overall growth. These people are light work now. They're light work. If you guys are familiar with Broly Games on social media, I think it's Games, but Broly, the duties, dude. You know how they've been picking up women and doing squatting with a woman on their shoulders. Light work. You know what I'm saying? Whatever attacks, whatever strategies, whatever manipulations, whatever, bro. That shit is light work now, right? Especially when you didn't just, crumble to the pressure, but you did everything in your power to get that shit off your back. You know what I'm saying? You did everything in your power to work with what you had. Yep. So are you ready for you? And that's the thing. Anybody who has toxic intentions towards you, I guarantee you. And we know this. We should know. It's wisdom to know. These people can't bear what you've been able to bear. These people can't lift what you're able to lift. Okay? Y'all are not in the same weight class. You're not. Okay? It's not a question about when or if they can defeat you, because they can't. They've done everything in their power to try. Fail after fail after fail. They did everything in their power to think that manipulating, materials and shit was going to, in turn, have you betray yourself mentally, spiritually, emotionally. That was a fail as well. You know what I'm saying? But guarantee you, those people put in the same circumstances that you done built strength with, you done built muscle with this shit, you done built an immunity to it. It's not gonna be the same for them. It's not the same for them because this shit is already happening. Okay? We have to make sure we see these things that used to hurt us so deeply from a proper lens, okay? Or from a clearer lens. Abandonment, emotional abandonment, neglect, lying, betrayal, game stalking, gaslighting, stonewalling, weaponized silence, harassment, bullying. We have to see all of this through a clear lens, see it for what it actually is, and you immediately disempower the source that's using that tactic. That's how you disarm them. That's how you disable them. Okay? That's how you disempower them. And you will always be a rude awakening to anybody like that you encounter. They're gonna never be ready for you. Never. And that's why you find yourself in situations where shit start off sweet. But when people try to utilize that little slick toxic shit, and they see how you respond to it, they see what you do with it, they see how you handle that shit, they never be ready for that. But one thing about it, whatever they do in retaliation, even when it seems like you're not ready, you've already been prepared. You're ready for it. And anything that genuinely can arouse fear or worry, that's literally all it is. Okay? It's a feeling. It's an illusion. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean it's going to materialize or affect, you know what I'm saying, the seeds that you're planting, or the seeds or the harvest that's growing from the seeds that you've already planted. You know, the other day, and that's me, I've always been that person, since I was like younger. Like, I used to always ask people, like, have people ask me, who you dressed up for? I'm like, I can't just dress up for myself. Like, what the fuck? I gotta be dressing up for somebody or for something, like for an occasion. Like, this is how I dress. You know what I'm saying? I'm out and about, so I'm dressed. I used to always have people ask me that, and that's how I respond. Like, what kind of question is that? Like, you don't care about, you know? But anyway, whatever. That's neither here nor there. But the other day, because considering like certain factors and stuff, no, I haven't been really dressing how I dress a whole lot. Like, within like the span of like a year, for real. Here and there, sporadically, depending on the circumstances, but whatever. I also didn't care either. Like, people wanted me to care. Um, but anyway, so I was out and about. I only went out to run a couple of errands. That's it. But you know, I was on my fly shit, and I was getting compliments left and right. You feel me? And when I came back inside, I was thinking to myself, like, damn. And I always have these thoughts because it's just the reality. Like, I was thinking to myself, yo, should I go somewhere just to go somewhere? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just to possibly run into people that, you know, I may create bonds with. Who knows? But it wasn't in me to do that. Like, it just wasn't in me to do that. Like, I just didn't. But the fact I even thought that thought, you know, I process it. I process it as, it's kind of similar to views compared to likes or genuine support on social media. It's the same shit. Like, the more exposure you have, you know what I'm saying? The more support, or the more opportunities, or the more likely you're able to like encounter people who are more on your level, right? And I was at peace with just the knowledge of that. I'm at peace with just understanding that. But still, you know, being true to myself, knowing at any moment I can step out wherever, or I know places where I can go, and I know what the end result gonna be, you know? Um, so yeah, I was reflecting on like 2020, 2019, 2020, 2021 for me, around those times, like how, you know, I was really growing on Facebook and shit, and you know, I was, you know, strictly plant-based vegan, you know, really passionate about all of that. Like really breaking cycles, like super passionate about that. Like, yoga faithfully. I was doing yoga prior to that too, but yoga faithfully outside, you know. Sunbathing was a really big thing for me daily. Like, I literally used to like, I would time it. Like, I knew like 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock was like when the sun would really peak, and I would always like try to get as much sun as possible. Like, even if it was like a cloudy day, like I would take advantage of all that. I was the type of person, if I had the proper circumstances, like at home, I did this shit in South Carolina. If it was raining really, really hard, I like to go and stand in the rain. I'm natural. I believe that there's healthy effects of like the rain on your skin and your hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is what my first set of locks. Shit, there was one time I managed to be able, like, nobody was home. Was my mom home? I don't know. But I managed to be able to go outside in the backyard when it was raining really, really hard. It was at nighttime. I went out there butt ass naked just for a quick moment because I didn't want nobody to see me. But I just wanted to be rained on, fully nude. You get what I'm saying? Like, just experience that for myself. So I'm that type of person. You know, I was definitely amused, okay, on Facebook. Um, I didn't post something like that on Facebook, of course, but during those times, you know, I was reflecting on how I would post like pictures and stuff of me like doing yoga or like doing certain shit to an extent. Like my dad had this huge tree cut down in our backyard, and I used to do yoga on the tree, on the fallen tree. Oh my God, it was the best thing ever, best thing ever. And I was just thinking, man, I wish I had my old photos, bro. Like, 'cause that shit was lit, dog. Like, that shit was so lit, you know. And these are things that I never necessarily stopped behind the scenes. Um, have I been distracted, disrupted, and stuff like that? Yes. Um, but it's never something that fully separated from me. So yeah. But I'm saying all this to say, like, as things age over time, I'm just noticing things come to a not so good end for people who were seemingly like on some superficial, well off shit. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And I'm reflecting on how things are not only aging for me, but for those of us who were met with similar circumstances, but we made the choices to be okay with going without. We made the choices to be okay with being an outcast. You know, we faced every battle with courage and boldness. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I'm still gonna be me. So I still love me. You know what I'm saying? I'm still gonna respect me. So I'm gonna still stand on what I said. You feel me? And just seeing how that's playing out for us now, right? Thank God. We always kind of knew it, right? We always kind of knew it. Like, when I was out that day, was this yesterday? Yeah, this actually yesterday. When I was out, I had two very pleasant encounters with some people. And we were just talking about, like, you know, just me being me. You know what I'm saying? Like, God always arranges situations like that where spiritual conversations or deep conversations would just naturally unfold. And we just kind of be in this whole little moment, you know. I had two moments like that back to back. And even that, right? Because those were the two errands that I ran yesterday. Boom, boom. And both places I went to, man, it was a lot of magical, mystical energy. And we know the eclipse was yesterday too, so I was kind of expecting those type of vibes. But anyway, like I said, just imagine if I would have went to other places. You get what I'm saying? Like, but instead I'm like, nah, I want to stay in. You feel me? Again, the understanding of that, the potentiality of that, by the proof and the evidence I already have, man, that's not just a one-day thing, you know. That's more than enough proof of my impact and my influence and my presence, the power of my presence. You get what I'm saying? So yeah. And I think what was beautiful about it was how unexpected it was to the person that I was, you know, communicating with. Just completely unexpected that type of wisdom and knowledge would be coming out of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was cool. Or a loving encounter. I had a very pleasant, loving encounter on me and this like elderly woman who used to work in healthcare. Um, this lady experienced 12 strokes and survived all of it. And there's people who don't even survive one nor two. She survived 12, right? Now, as the conversation went on, I could already tell that this wasn't a regular person I was talking to. As the conversation continued, and I'm picking up on information that she hasn't even said out of her mouth yet, but it's like spiritual communication that's simultaneously happening as we're just communicating, like, with our words. And we begin to confirm that within one another. But she was the type of person, um, she give of herself a lot. And she used, her gifts was infused in being a nurse, in healthcare. And so she was great with divine timing. Calling certain patients, like kind of like going against the grain and doing shit that she probably, that people, in her field would say she shouldn't do, but because she listened to God, she did it anyway. And she was really setting herself up with a beautiful network in the spirit realm, like with people who passed on, like by the decisions that she made off her intuition. You get what I'm saying? And I told her, that's why you survived. You're needed here. There's something that you're doing. You're needed. And she shared with me another instinct how a family member rides motorcycles or whatever, and this one particular time she had an inkling to tell her, yo, I want you to take this helmet or get this helmet, or I'm going to give you this helmet. And it was basically a very padded helmet. It was padded on the inside. Shortly after that, that same family member got in a tragic accident on their bike. And literally, I think she split her pelvic bone, broke some other limbs, lower body. But if she didn't have that helmet on, and she said, that was the first thing she said to her, she was like, I'm so glad I had that helmet. Like, the first thing she said was, thank you for that helmet. Thank you. So it be stuff like that. We really be out here saving lives, y'all. Like, we do. We do. Those inklings that we share with people, us going off instincts, you'll be surprised whose life you're saving. When you share your dreams, when you share your prophetic visions or your dreams or those intuitive nudges, regardless of how they respond or if they downplay what you say at the time, there's going to come a time or a moment where they're going to need something that you said, something that you gave them. They're going to contribute or look back to you like, I'm so glad this person said this to me, shared this with me, gave this to me. I'm so glad. You get what I'm saying? And that's the beauty of staying in alignment. That's the beauty of keeping your heart pure, retaining the purity of your heart despite the many, many efforts to turn your heart dark, bro. Not only do your life depends on it, but other people's lives depend on it. Whether you can see it in that moment or not, right? Me and her was talking about how because she worked in healthcare, she felt like she had no choice but to get the COVID shot. And I was telling her, well, I have some clients who work in healthcare. They're like really at the top in their field. They refused to take the COVID shot, and they was willing to quit the job, leave. But she just kept saying how she didn't have a choice, like, because her patients, like, because she's that type of person, like, she really loved her patients, like family. And she was like, I didn't have a choice. So I mentioned to her about how certain people who's lost their jobs because they refused the shot, their careers are being reinstated as we speak, right? And you know what's crazy about her feeling like she didn't have a choice, even though she did? You know what's crazy? You know how I just mentioned a little while ago She had 12 strokes. She didn't suffer from those 12 strokes until after receiving the COVID shot. So she agreed to take that shot, right? Instead of resigning, refusing to allow that substance to be put in her body. She took the shot to keep her job because she felt like she had no other choice. Not long after her staying at her job, she had a stroke while she was with a patient, literally was holding a patient and had a stroke, right? So even you, let me tell you how crazy stuff play out. She ended up losing her job because she's now considered a liability from having the strokes. It was time for her to walk away from there, right? But she really believed she didn't have no other choice because she let fears and, materials and stuff, she let that shit get to her. And so boom, instead of refusing the shot, and still being able to drive, be licensed to drive, avoid having these strokes and health issues, still be able to work in healthcare, even if you got to go somewhere else or do something else with that, right? All that shit was revoked from her because of fear. And she still ended up having to leave the job, but this time in a far severe or far worse manner, and that was due to her having reactions from the COVID vaccine. Only for the U.S. to turn around and start reinstating people their jobs who didn't take it. You see the irony of that? So I'm telling you, the way things are aging over time, for those of us who remain loyal to the divine, who remain loyal to the cause, bro, is aging well for us. This is why the scriptures say, the last shall be first and the first shall be last. And you know what's beautiful about it? She didn't allow that to discourage her from who she is, We all have our Job moments where we question why things happen to us, because of the good that we put out in the world. But she didn't allow that to separate her from her faith in the divine. Because it's somebody who's gifted. Even if she lost that job, it's like her gifts did not leave her because of how she handled losing the job, how she handled the loss and the sacrifice. She didn't curse God and decided to become bitter or nothing like that. She was still doing her spiritual work with her loved ones. If she had a dream, if she had an inkling, if she had a nudge, if she still had contact and communication with a patient or whatever, she would check in, she would tap in, she would follow spirit. And I told her, that's how you survived. And, she just kept saying, I don't even know how I'm alive. I don't know how I'm alive. And I said, the same way you have this healing influence and dedication and impact and what you've done for people by being that way, even those that have passed on now, if they also shared a healing impact, a healing influence, and they're now in the spirit realm, can you imagine what they're doing for you on the other side? Can you imagine what they're doing for you to heal you, to protect you from the spirit realm, right? Nobody will ever get away from how they treat people. Whether in life or death, nobody will get away from that karma. No one. I don't care about the illusions of shortcuts, the illusion of materials, the illusion of wealth, whatever, the illusion of ass. I don't give a fuck. I don't care about how big the dick is, whatever, how fat the ass is, bro. I'd rather have a big, healthy dick. I'd rather have a big, healthy, loyal, faithful dick, okay, than just a big dick that's being passed around type, Shit. I don't give a damn. But to each their own, you know what I'm saying? To each their own. there's ever a fight, which there will be, it should never be a fight where, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we supposed to love each other, you're fighting against me to hurt me. You know what I'm saying? And because I have to fend for myself, you know, I'm even like, I'm either allowing myself to get hurt because I love you. You know what I'm saying? And I have the conscience to, you feel me, be wise about how I do you. You know what I'm saying? Even though you're hurting me, or I'm gonna end up hurting you while defending myself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, let's just not do this at all. You know? If we're not fighting for something mutually together, you know, that's in, you know, that's actually healthy, harmonious for us, why are we fucking with each other? If we're both tearing each other down, why are we fucking with each other? If you feel like you have to fight me and tear me down, like just for me to salvage the connection with you, I gotta go. I can't remain attached to that. I can't let you remain attached to me. I got shit to do. That's bigger than me. That's going to create ripple effects in other people's lives. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the making of creating my spirit. I'm every day, every decision that I choose to make with a person, I'm creating my spiritual network. I'm adding to my protection. I'm adding to my credibility in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? It's that deep. So I could have been a lot further ahead if I didn't allow people that I love to put me in a space where I will hold myself back by the decisions that I made to, you know, fight for their love or fight for peace with them. You know what I'm saying? Even though I am the peace, you know, I'm the one that's even leading the peace. You get what I'm saying? Like, I could have been a lot further ahead, and that's just the reality. But that's okay though. That's okay. Because now in this new phase, nobody can do that. Nobody can pull that card with me no more. You get what I'm saying? I'm on the type of shit where you got your two cards. You got your cards. And I can tell you what's on the front of those cards without you showing me. That's where I'm at now. That's where I'm at. And we have that gift. We have that for a reason. We have that to use that to our advantage. You know, to protect us, to find those ways of escape. You know, don't get caught in the trap. Don't, you know, get lured into the snare, into the grave that's been dug for you. Like, nah. It looks suspicious right there. Why it look like that right there? I don't remember that being right there. Why is you constantly trying to influence me to go right there? Why? Why you want me to go there so bad? You know what I'm saying? What are you trying to get me to do to myself? What are you trying to do to me? You know? That investigative energy that I've always had in me, like since I was young, bro, I understand why. You know what I'm saying? Whenever I would pick up on like suspicious activity accurately, and then there would be people in place to try to lower your suspicions, like, yeah, nah, bro. I understand why that's there. And I refuse to let anybody like diffuse that, you know, when it's unwarranted, when it shouldn't be diffused. We should be on alert. You know what I'm saying? Why all of a sudden you being extra nice? You was just shading me, you know, acting funny and shit. What's going on? All of a sudden, you want to fuck with me? All of a sudden, you want to get with me again? All of a sudden, can you help me understand how you've come to this decision? Let's talk about it. You can choose not to talk about it, but the situation is going to be examined. Your spirit is going to be tested. We're going to take our time and read every word. We're going to read. Period. It's crazy. So I'm gonna do another video because this one is getting too long. Oh, you're an EMT? I love that. And like I said, you know, I said in a video recently how God always has his people in place in every avenue of life. You get what I'm saying? For a reason. As an EMT, you can be the type of, you know, angel or soul where it look like that person is about to die. Like, damn, like all the physical shit that y'all using to save this person's life, it don't seem like it's working. You can speak a word over that person, save their life. Reverse that whole death off of them if you get the go to do it. That's the thing too. We have to obey God. We have to know, you know, when to say things, when not to say things. Okay? Discipline, discernment. In order to dictate, you know, properly, accurately. What's the correct way? How's the correct way? I'm trying to remember JROTC, bro. I could do about face. About face. But I know it's a certain way you're supposed to put your hand, okay, when you do it. And it's supposed to be like here. Or some shit like that. So a certain way you're supposed to put your thumb when you do it. Yeah. Well, alright, you guys. I feel like I am going to end up doing another video, but I'm hungry. I haven't eaten yet today. It is robotic. I didn't do it because I'm like limited, but no, the whole thing is like robotic. Like how you gotta put it at your like it's very robotic for sure. I know. But yeah. Damn. That's a good combination there. For sure. Your name is Michael. Your life path 33. You're a Marine and an EMT. God did his thing. I ain't gonna cap. God did his thing. That's some forward tough shit. Yep. But alright, y'all. Yep. And your birthday, Earth Day, Earth Angel. Aries, Taurus, cusp. The cusp of power. Yeah, I know. I remember our conversations. I remember. Yeah, I have a superb memory. But yeah. Alright, y'all.